Right, so today we're going to be checking out the history behind Das Final, which is from Potential History, and this, of course, was requested by Alf because, for some strange reason, he likes to torment me with Japanese schoolgirls piloting tanks. So, we've checked out the first three, we've checked out the movie, now we're checking out this one, so I'm not even going to run my mouth anymore. We already know what we're going to be in for. We're in for Japanese schoolgirls being superheroes and tank battles where no one gets hurt yet tanks get exploded. Here we go.
So before I start this, I know that not everybody on the channel is a big fan of anime, and I'm not either.
That's a lot!
But for anybody who is newer to the channel, one of the first real series I did here was on the history behind Girls in Panzer. And although the plot is not great, and it does have some of those same anime tropes,
Kiss my ass!
there's real attention to detail to the history that's in it, and I was very surprised by that and compelled to make the series. And those videos were some of the first ones that brought people to the channel and really began my following. So as a thank you to all the OG fans from way back then, I'm going to do one more The History Behind Girls in Panzer video. If this isn't really your thing, I totally get it. That's why I did 2 videos this week, to make sure there was something for everybody. So now that that's out of the way,
let's just jump in.
This meme fucking sucks.
oh, also St. Gloriana's Gaming College and OC Gangster have lent their shitposting and voiceover talent. Be sure to check them out after the video. Oh, one last thing for real. This episode is sponsored by the game Panzermädels. Stick around at the end for a wild ride about that.
Oh, God.
What is this nonsense? I can't believe I paid $6 for this.
Quiet! This is the best part!
That's it. I'm out of here.
This video is the biggest load of hoo-ha I've ever seen.
Yes,
Why do
pretty
you
much.
insist we watch this stupid thing?
Am I the only one who understands the complexities of this ambitious cinematic masterpiece? This movie isn't stupid! You're stupid!
Oh, Billy, why you gotta be like that?
The episode opens with the entire Ori team atop the bridge on the River Kwai as it's being destroyed. Also, if Girls in Panzer is new to you, and this all seems fairly dangerous, in one of the early episodes it is explained that the sport is safe through this scene.
They use live rounds in matches, but they're used with an emphasis on the participant's safety.
Which is
I love the fact that that is actually a line that gets said.
both vague and doesn't explain scenarios like this. Anyways, they're being attacked from unknown enemies and Monocle Girl is freaking out. Turns out that was all just a flash forward though. And the episode really begins with a handful of Goliath track mines crawling around the school's campus. The Goliath was developed by Germany in 1942 and saw service for the rest of the war in either an electrically powered or gas-powered variant. They were generally used as anti-tank or anti-personnel weapons, although most of the time, due to being very susceptible to small arms fire, they would rarely make it to their target, and that, combined with the high cost to produce them, had the Germans cease production by 1944. There are a lot of them still around though, with at least one example in most major tank museums. In Girls in Panzer World though, they're being used as some kind of sonar device to search for a tank by a team headed up by Monocle Girl. They very quickly locate what looks to be one, but are interrupted by some people telling Monocle Girl that she can't go to college or something. Which is apparently a big enough deal to make the news, and everybody starts freaking out about it. But hey, in the background there's a Saint Chamon. I'm not a big plot fan for this series, but basically Monocle Girl needs to win a tankery tournament as a team leader to get into college because her grades are bad, and that's what's going to be the core conflict for this series.
Okay.
And I just have to say that it is great to see the writers of this show really branching out and trying new things. Can't wait to see where this new tank tournament plotline goes. I'm sure it'll be groundbreaking for the series. To find the new tank, they need to go into the lower decks of the school ship where they detected it, which is apparently a huge slum.
The sheer... Oh my God, we have reached the underhive of Japanese schoolgirlville.
Where all the slacker students and one of Gene Simmons' long-lost kids live. And for anybody who hasn't seen Girls in Panzer or my previous videos on it, I'm sorry for the mental trauma that last sentence caused you. The world building here is strange. After some anime
The world building here is strange. The world building throughout the entire thing has been strange.
shenanigans, Miho and the gang wind up in some kind of dive bar, and the students there tell them that they will reveal the
These... Oh my God. They're legitimately from the ages of 11 to 16. And they're in a dive bar. Give me a break.
location of the tank if each of them completes a challenge against one of them.
Oh, God.
And they're all loosely based around their positions in the tank they drive, and they start out kind of believable. Like, I guess driving a tank would give you some finger strength to be better than the average thumb wrestler, but being a tank commander giving you super spinal strength is a little out there. I guess Spirit Girl knowing how to untie a sailor's knot makes sense, though.
Okay.
I'm sure her tank knowledge is matched by naval knowledge. In the process, though, Miho lays out one absolute unit of the sailors, prompting them to forego the whole thing and just shank a bitch for roughing up their bar.
Hey,
While backing
there you
away,
go.
Yukari produces a German grenade from somewhere,
I have several questions.
in preparation to take down as many of them with her as possible. All is saved, though, when Captain Morgan steps in to stop the fight and challenges Hana to a drinking game, which she is good at because she's a tank gunner. It's not really that well explained.
It's not. Somebody please help me here.
Impressed that Hana could drink Admiral Nelson under the table, the Sailor Scouts reveal the location of the tank and agree to be its crew. I hope it's a Bob Semple, I hope it's a Bob Semple. Then there's a bit of plot where we see characters from other schools, with the British on their ship, the Soviets on an NKL-2642 Aerosani fan-driven reconnaissance snowmobile, the Americans transporting a tank in a Sikorsky CH-54 Tarhe, probably said that wrong, the Germans in a shack on the Ostfront, I guess, with some loser sitting by herself, the Italians holding a rally in Rome, the Japanese in a classroom that looks really similar to the ones I've seen in sports films of Japanese tank schools, which is really cool.
今度の大会はどうしたらいい
텐노해가 반사이! 텐노해가 반사이! 텐노해가 반사이!
Really?
And the Finns in a cottage with a BA-10 armored car outside.
I cannot believe they packed so much stuff into this. And the amount of complaints he has had about it is minimal, and considering how much he knows about tanks, that's impressive to me. I might actually have to watch this, guys.
All talking about how they plan to win the upcoming tournament. With the exception of the Finns, who are discussing the pros and cons of even joining, stating that winter is a time of rest. We next see
Come on, Finland. No.
the drawing for the Tankery tournament, where Ori is matched up with BC Freedom Academy, who are the show's equivalent to the French that are seen fighting amongst each other. Which I was going to say was a reference to a specific thing, but it could be a reference to a ton of things. It seems like
It's France. Pick a time period.
France just has revolutions in its free time.
Yes.
The one with the lighter complexion also calls the one with the darker complexion a transfer student. No idea what that could be about. While Marie Antoinette
okay.
Reincarnated discusses the pros of eating cake, and Yukari explains the divide between the school's aristocrats and commoners. So, yeah, pretty dead on for France. We then see another one of Yukari's infiltration films produced by Lucasfilm, starting with her being dropped off in a Berget G-11E helicopter. God, I can't pronounce things. Next to Notre Dame Cathedral. The commoners and the aristocrats are fighting again, this time more riot style,
really?
over what is served in the cafeteria. She heads to the tank storehouse where she sees an FT and the Tankery team fighting over what the flag tank will be, as Marie continues to eat cake. Oh my god!
God, the reference on this is just... If you don't know Marie Antoinette...
Her name is actually Marie.
Yeah, it
and
is.
Yukari leaves after being roughed up in a riot. Fast forwarding to the match with some Kawasaki
I can't even.
Ki-78 Ken 3s and Yokosuka P1Ys flying overhead as referee planes, a 40mm Bofors AA gun starts the match with all the other schools in attendance. You then see the new tank. Ah, fuck, I want a Bob Semple. A World War I British Mark IV, and one of the very first tank designs to see battle. The Mark IV was one of the many British rhombus tank designs that changed warfare on the Western Front in World War II, and saw service to the end of the war, although becoming outclassed by more maneuverable tanks with turrets in the interwar period. In the show, they rig it up like a ship, because land ships.
お前が自分で言ったら
Get
どう
it?
だ
After a
どう
little
し
more
て
plot, you
私が
formally
頭
meet
を
the
下げな
French
きゃい
team.
けないの
Made up of 3 different tank models, and I'm going to hand it off to St. Gloriana's Game.
Okay, seriously? Imagine that you're a soldier and you've never seen a tank, and then all of a sudden that thing comes over the hill. Like, we're in some serious shit now.
Gaming Academy and OC Gangster to tell you about them.
The S-35 was a pre-war French cavalry tank that saw service in the Battle for France. Armed with a 47mm gun, it was a heavy version of the similar two-man type tanks that the French army had various models of, with heavier armour to combat modern anti-tank guns and space for an additional man as a radio operator. After the fall of France in 1940, S-35s were used in various roles by many of the Axis powers, as well as a few seen service in North Africa and a handful by a French mixed tank division that was almost compromised with a few Allied designs.
The ARL-44 began its life being designed somewhat in secret by the French government under occupation. After the liberation of France, the country wanted to maintain its great power status and felt it could do so by contributing as much as they could to the war efforts in the months that remained. Tank development was a huge part of this because all of their pre-war designs that France had were now horribly outdated.
Yeah.
But by the end of the war, only a wooden mock-up had been completed, and the 60 that were eventually built were done so post-war. Because France was out of the tank designing game for so long, the ARL-44 ended up being a mishmash of old and new components, and some from other countries, including a suspension based off one of their Char B, a German Maybach HL230 V12 petrol engine, and a 90mm DCA-45 gun, housed in a steel turret made from the scuttled battleship Dunkirk. Overall, the ARL-44 was mostly a disappointment, and served primarily as a lesson on how to build heavier vehicles, and they saw no major action during their short service life.
The final tank, and the flag tank in the show, is a Renault FT. This French tank from World War I was the first to feature...
I don't know why, but I just love that tank. I don't know why. It has a kickstand. I don't get it.
The typical layout of tanks you see today, with a driving compartment, fighting compartment, and engine compartment, and found great success on the battlefields of World War I, being copied or exported to almost every major nation after the war, along with service during World War II and some service into the late 40s in some Arab conflicts. The actual battle portion of the episode is kind of short, but it begins with the French team continuing to fight internally before they split off, and the Tiger P and Type 89 going out to scout where they are. The Mark IV manages to keep up with the rest of the tanks when it should be far too slow to do so, continuing the show's tradition of not paying attention to top speeds. Once spotted by the scouts, the French then began to put some sort of plan into action, and begin firing on the scout tanks. Orai's main force crosses the bridge we saw earlier to kill the flag tank for what looks like a very easy victory. But the French team has drawn them into an ambush on the bridge, putting them in the situation we found them in the opening scene.
Yes, it's completely safe, guys.
The ambush also includes this scene, which makes no sense as the FT had a one-man turret. So either there's another person crammed in there or she's firing the gun unaimed with her foot. To rescue the track team, the Tiger team conquers its worst enemy, a hill, but Miho does not see them getting there in time. So the Mark IV Deus Ex Machinas them away off the bridge, this anime, and the French team does the French thing in response. Both teams
I gotta see that.
regroup for the next episode, or French thing in response.
Yes, France has one of the better win-loss ratios of any country in modern warfare. They fought past the point of exhaustion in World War I, and the French soldiers fought exceptionally in World War II and were let down by poor command and control along with outdated ideas of how the new war will be fought. The joke needs to die. This is actually remarkably true. The French army was okay. The French army was decent. The French command was shit. I mean... It was so bad. It was like if you take a look at what Russia is in the Ukraine right now. Like the first few weeks of the Russia-Ukraine war. That was France all the way through. It was insane how bad things were. The reason that the tanks fell out of fashion was because the French leadership was sitting there going, well, we won the war. There's no reason to worry about anything. They were saying that up right until Hitler declared war on Poland. It was ridiculous. And then they had so many supply issues, logistical issues, manpower issues. They had every kind of problem that you don't want to have in a military. But they thought everything was fine, up until it wasn't.
Both teams regroup for the next episode, or round, and the French drive away to the Onion Song. Really? Of all the French marches, you picked the Onion Song? Real quick before I go, I'm aware that this episode came out quite a while ago, and the next one's not due till sometime out in the summer, I believe.
All right.
But while you're waiting, if you have an anime tank itch you need to scratch, there's a game called Panzer Mädels that may be able to do that for you. It's
Wait. Tank dating simulator? I need this. Let's see.
Dating sim. Okay, calm down. That's not the best part. That is utterly hilarious and filled with tank and history references that's actually quite a bit of fun. I actually played it on a live stream
Oh my god.
a month or so back and really enjoyed it. It's written very well. I won't go through the main premise for you because you have to experience that on your own just like I did. But I really do recommend it, and I believe it's currently on sale on Steam if you want to go pick it up. Also, thank you to OC Gangster and St. Gloriana's Gaming College for contributing to the video at various points. If you like this kind of thing, Girls and Panzer memes and historical memes, there are 2 channels that you should check out. I'll link them below. Also, thank you to my patrons. Without them...
Alright, guys. This... Okay, let me see if there's anything past this. Yeah, basically, every time I see every time I see anime, at some point I have a what the fuck Japan moment. This would be a what the fuck Japan moment from the time I started it. The sheer fact that they had a drinking contest in a school ship that looked like an Underhigh from 40K, I mean, okay. We're there. We've reached peak ridiculousness. And I say that and I already know I'm going to get something in the request for reaction portion of the Discord that is going to blow this out of the water. In any case, like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. I'll be putting all Potential History's links in the description down below. And if you'd like to support the channel, there's a Patreon. If you'd like to torture me, request for reaction channel. There you go. Catch you guys next time. And I hit the wrong button.